Carl, are you ready? Are you ready to light it up like it's dynamite?
Are you ready? No,
I
I
said.
said. Yeah, so the other Wednesday show, is it the Wednesday show? Should NXT be the other Wednesday show?
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, it's the main Wednesday show. It's consistently been higher rated by us.
Mm-hmm.
Make of that what you will, audience.
Yeah.
We've consistently rated Dynamite higher because it's consistently better. That being said, NXT for the last few weeks has picked up, but yeah, for me, this is the Wednesday night show.
Well, for the Wednesday night show, we see it kick off with Le Champion, accompanied by the sixth member of the Inner Circle, his baseball bat Floyd, coming out to be on commentary.
I meant to mention, sorry, I don't mean to digress so quickly. Do you not think, right, Jericho is subtly hinting at this sort of Negan, Walking Dead, leather jacket, baseball bat kind of thing. And then coincidentally, quite overtly, NXT did it a takeover with Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the similarities. I think Velveteen Dream went for a I am fucking Negan, like 100% cosplay almost, whereas I think Jericho's borrowing a bit from the actor, but you can try as much as you want. You ain't gonna be Chris Jericho, so good luck, Dream. But yeah, don't hold.
It was all a dream.
But he's out on commentary for this week, and the first match of the show is the debuting FTR taking on Butcher and the Blade. Obviously, they set this up the previous week, and this was a really nice old school wrestling contest. Not even like old WWF, but like more like AWA, NWA times. This was like when tag team wrestling meant something, and that's what the Revival or fucking whatever they're called now. Fuck the rules, fuck the Revival for the Reefer. I don't know who they are. What are they called? Do you know what they're called? Something like
that. I think they've alluded to a few things. Fuck the rest, I think, was one of them as well.
Yeah, fuck the rest.
Given where the truck landed in the arena the other week, maybe it's fine the road. I don't know.
But yeah, so like these guys they're definitely trying to bring back like old school tag team wrestling, and they're very well known for being really good tag team, and this kind of match just was a great example to introduce those to the AEW audience who may not know them that well. A lot of kind of back and forth, classic tag team action, abiding by the rules, holding onto the bit by the turnbuckle where you can't go too far away, kind of distractions, double teaming, like load of good shenanigans like that. What I thought was really nice about this is, no bones about it, FTR are very much, massive fanboys, the Brainbusters, who are Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, the old school tag team way back when. And you actually get to see both Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson scouting this match, which I thought was such a nice
nod. Yeah, I like that.
Being like really, for them to be fans all their lives of those as a tag team must have been like amazing for them.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I feel like I read somewhere the other week that Vince McMahon once told them that they're good, but they're no Tully and Anderson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, but just a side note there, mate. But apparently he thought they were good, but they were never going to be that good.
Interesting. No, I like that. I've not seen that. But yeah, so really good, strong opening contest. FTR picked up the win, as I think we all knew they would. So really good, kind of solid tag team match to start off the show. We then get the Young Bucks coming out after the show to congratulate them, but also kind of bit of backhanded to basically say that they've been carrying the tag team division on their shoulders now for the last 15 years. Apparently so. But then Butcher gets involved and starts attacking the Bucks. FTR make the save. Then Sabian and Havoc get involved in some reason. Side note, they've now got a tag team name.
Okay. Any good?
Well, you tell me. The Super Bad Death Squad.
No, then.
Okay, should just gone with the British bunch.
Yeah, what's going to sound cool? Let's be Team Death Punch.
Exactly. They've basically gone like down the Murderhawk Monster school of fucking nicknames.
Let's just throw some cool sounding things out there and see what happens.
Yeah, so they get involved for some reason, and then Omega and Hangman come out as well to end up making the save. So interesting one. You get basically ends up with the Young Bucks, Omega and Hangman, and the Revival, or FTR, as like the teams that are left in the ring. So some big tag team names in there.
Yeah, no, it's I like where they're heading with it. It's interesting because obviously the straight up way of doing it would have just been FTR versus the Young Bucks, but it's not necessarily going to be the case. There's a lot of components, and it actually showcases the great tag teams that they've got at the moment. So yeah, fully enjoyed that part.
I think as well, like they're going to do a good job of building that up. Like, you know, they're already kind of leaning into the fact that the Young Bucks are known by many as the best tag team in the world. You know, FTR are known by many as the best tag team in the world. Like, if they're going to do this, who's actually going to come out on top? So they're doing some pretty good kind of groundwork up front, I think, for that whenever it does happen. So pretty decent. We then cut backstage and see QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes being interviewed. Looks like they've got a shot at the tag team titles next week. But then Brandy basically gets involved and is like, well, why the hell is Ali wearing a, you know, fucking Rhodes family jacket? And QT is like, well, you know, she's my girl because that's her new gimmick now. She's no longer the bunny. She is, you know, QT's missus, apparently.
Why did they drop that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No idea.
Not the bunny now.
Exactly.
Got bored.
Exactly. But yeah, so Dustin basically gets involved and is like, well, you know, QT needs to realize what's actually at stake here. You know, we've got a chance to win the titles, and whatever this is between you and Ali, you need to get out of your system because next week she's not going to be at ringside. And QT's a bit like, so interesting dissension within the family.
Is she a problem?
Yeah, apparently. I don't know.
Brandy's literally there because she's Cody's partner. Like, is it not roughly the same?
Yeah, a little bit. So, don't know. But for whatever reason, she hates her, and so does Dustin. We then go on to our next match.
Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't Ali hate Brandy? Because when they were doing the Nightmare Collective, she cut off some of her hair and beat the shit out of her with Awesome Kong.
I mean, that's a very good point, actually. I'd quite like to see that brought back up again and just see how they handle it.
Sorry, anyway.
Yeah, interesting one. But I'm not really sure where it's going to go, but interesting development. We then get a tag team match between the Penelope Ford and Nyla Rose taking on Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. Entertaining little match, I thought. The good thing was it didn't go on too long, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like it did what it needed to in quite a short and snappy amount of time, which I think is quite a good thing. All four women got an opportunity to showcase their talent and shine within this. Sabian played his role of being like the little the little outside bitch, kind of getting involved. Ended up grabbing Shida at one point, which caused like a ref distraction, in basically allowing for what in quite a big upset. Nyla throws Shida's belt into Penelope Ford, who knocks out Shida and ends up pinning her. So she ends up pinning the champ. So quite a big upset. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Penelope Ford really, really shone in this match. And, you know, I've said for a while now she's got the look. I'm not too massively keen on the whole kind of gimmick with her and Sabian, but, you know, she's got the look, she's got the star appeal, and her in-ring work seems to get better and better. So this was quite a big win. So who knows? Is she going to be a future champion? I think she's capable of it. But
definitely, yeah. She's definitely got some talent there. I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to seeing the potential for what they could do with it. And like you say, they can need to. All right, they're a couple, and you can acknowledge that, but it doesn't need to be the whole thing that they're like sort of constantly with each other. That sort of thing. She needs to shine away from Kip as well.
Yeah, so I think hopefully he doesn't hold her back, if that makes sense, because I think she's the breakout star. But let's see how they handle it. We then go to a little segment where Darby Allin goes skating with Tony Hawk. Because why not?
Why not?
Basically, he's trying to do this this drop from a ladder on his board and just kind of wipes out several times. Then finally, he nails it, lands the trick, and high fives Tony Hawk. But apparently, he's still not cleared to wrestle. So
okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it reminds me of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That was a fun game.
Well, that's coming back actually. I'm quite looking forward to playing that one.
Really?
Huh? Yeah, they're remastering it, the first one.
Nice.
Very nice.
So it's like a proper nostalgic pop. I like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it worked with Crash Bandicoot, didn't it? So why not?
Well, exactly. Yeah, I fucking love that remaster. But yeah, we then the next segment we get to see Britt Baker in another video. Oh no, I've just made my webcam full screen and lost all my notes, and we're back. So yeah, we get to see Britt Baker. Basically, she's tired of hearing about Big Swole and her kind of struggle. You know, Britt Baker's faced so many struggles in her time here. You know, dentist exams that she shouldn't study for but still aced. You know, she's got an injury now. Like, she's faced more than enough struggles. So she demands the respect of the rest of the women. So I don't know. Again, pretty solid from her. I'm quite liking the fact
I'm
that
enjoying it. I'm enjoying her heel run, to be honest, as a whole. It's been really good.
We then get to see the Inner Circle, comprised of Santana, Ortiz, and Hager, taking on the Best Friends. And the match was okay. Probably the worst of the 3 fucking tag team matches that we've had to open the show. But that being said, it was still fine. These guys are all pretty talented. Cassidy ended up picking up the win.
I think given the way they've been booking him lately, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then Jericho leaves his position on commentary to come down and basically just twat the shit out of Orange Cassidy. So he smacks him in the head with his baseball bat. He then beats him over the head with a literal sack of oranges.
I fucking love it.
What a visual.
Why
not? Exactly. But yeah, and then, as he's laid out there, busted open, the rest of the Inner Circle kind of just squeeze the orange juice over his face and the rest of his body. So yeah, nice little segment. Kind of gets over the fact that, well, exactly. So it looks like it's very firmly Orange Cassidy and Jericho is the next feud for Le Champion.
I like it. I think they'll play well off each other. Cassidy surprised me because it's not just like a daft gimmick. He can have really good matches. Like I still think one of the best matches I've seen in AEW is him and Pac. So I'd love to see what him and Jericho do together.
Yeah, definitely. We then get to see quite an interesting little segment. So MJF is sat there cutting a solid promo, as he always does, talking about how he's ranked number 1 and he's undefeated for God knows how long now, and yet, Jungle Jabroni still got a TNT title shot ahead of him, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah.
But, he says he's basically a great white who's swimming in a sea full of minnows, and then Billy Gunn cuts him off and goes, well, you're looking at a great white shark. And MJF's like, well, haven't you got any more talentless sons that you need to find a job for?
Oh, that's savage.
Which I thought was savage. And then Billy Gunn kind of grabs him by the neck and MJF shouts for Wardlow. But this is a match I never knew I wanted, but I so want it. I want to see MJF and Wardlow against the Guns, or the Gun Club, whatever the fuck they call themselves now. I want to see that.
I'm all for that, yeah.
So just mad how out of nothing you get to, everything MJF touches, you want to see it, don't you? And this was no exception. Yeah. So
no, he's great on the mic. He'll get any match hyped easily.
Definitely. We then get Sammy Guevara, the Spanish God, taking on Colt Cabana. Boom, boom, Colt Cabana. And yeah, so basically Cabana makes his personal straight away because he throws the beloved Hit Me Up Mobile off the stage, which that's crossing the line, man.
I know I didn't like Colt.
So they start the match by having a flip off. So a lot of flipping the birds each. First singular, then doubles. Taking it up a level. But yeah, then we start to get into it properly, and it's a really entertaining match. To be fair, Cabana gets in quite a lot of offense on here and a lot of kind of near falls. Guevara does an excellent job of selling everything, as he always does. But then Cabana ends up making a mistake, which allows Sammy to capitalize, and he ends up hitting, which I don't know, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on this, but he ultimately hits a version of the GTS to pick up the win. And, for anyone who knows, Punk and Cabana were very close friends for a long time, but they've had a very, public and drastic falling out. So do you believe that the, Sammy Guevara hitting the GTS for the win was any part of that, or just a coincidence?
I don't know, because I've not seen Sammy do it before, and it did look very GTS-like. It wouldn't surprise me. AEW aren't ones for shying away from subtle little jabs. And I could see Colt easily being on board for that sort of subtle nod. That being said, I could also see if it was something that was meant for Punk, like as a jab. I could imagine Punk responding to it, and I've not seen anything from him. I don't know, but it does feel like a deliberate thing for me.
Yeah, it seemed a bit like as you said, we haven't seen the music before. It seemed a little bit too out of left field, but solid match. I thought after the match itself, the Dark Order show up. This is the first time we've seen everybody from the Dark Order together, which I thought was interesting. And Brody Lee comes down, helps Cabana get back on his feet, literally, maybe helping him get back on his feet, and then just leaves. And Cabana's kind of stood there looking a bit confused. Then Guevara gets on the mic and he starts to cut a promo and gets cut off by Matt Hardy, who basically says that he sees a young Matt Hardy when he looks at Sammy Guevara, and he thinks Guevara is the future of the business. But in order to
Okay,
to
so
be that, he
Matt's
needs to get
copying
away
us
from
now.
Jericho.
We've been saying he's the future of the damn business since day one. Here.
Exactly. You know what I mean? We are trailblazers. That's all I can say.
It is.
But yeah, so basically, in order for Sammy to realize that potential, he has to get away from Jericho. We then flash up some Matt facts, so old school Matt Hardy version 1,
Nice.
which I'm loving. And basically, Sammy's like, "No, shut up." And then he turns into the broken Matt, and he tells him he's going to eat him. And starts deleting him basically. So I don't know. He is the most baffling, complex, and yet entertaining character, I think, at the minute, Matt Hardy. I'm so glad he's not just being broken Matt all the time. I'm enjoying these little kind of fluctuations between his previous gimmicks. It definitely feels a bit fresh.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and it's like there's proper boss little nods to his previous gimmick, like the Matt facts and the like the way it's been upgraded, the Mattitude stuff to be YouTube instead of was it like some sort of AOL thing previously, wasn't it? Just like sort of little changes and little nods that it's so well done. And again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I wasn't overly big on the broken Matt stuff anyway, so I'm glad that they're doing something different with it.
Yeah, but I thought that this was quite interesting. I'm keen to see where Matt and Guevara go, because obviously they're trying to go down this like respect angle, and he needs to leave Jericho and stuff. And I can't imagine the sex gods breaking up anytime soon. It's not something I want to see anyway. So interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, would be interesting. I really like the two of them together. So I know we could see something really good in Guevara and Matt together, but I don't know. Like you say, it'll be a dark day when the sex gods split up. A dark day.
We then get to see a Liv Morgan promo. Only this time it's Joey Janela, who doesn't know who he is. He's just
That's
like
good,
most
because
girls.
we haven't had much of Liv this week, so at least we get it somewhere.
We've not had much of Liv for a while, to be fair. But I think, that's probably because everyone's doing this fucking
She doesn't know
gimmick
who
at the
she
minute.
is, where she is, what's happening, what time it is.
No one knows where she is. Has anyone checked on her? Liv, if you're alive, please call us.
We're worried about you.
Yeah, Joey Janela is like, his best moments of behind him now. He's gone from main event and stuff to just being nowhere. And then, interestingly, he gets wasted at a bar and then gets into a car with Sonny Kiss. And it seemed like they were going down a bit of a, are these guys going to get it on kind of angle. So,
I mean,
don't know.
Maybe.
Seemed a bit interesting.
Yeah, well, they're going to start a relationship, and then Joey Janela's going to be there flipping monster truck tires, and Sonny Kiss is going to be decidedly annoying and cheering him on.
Maybe. I mean, that's not being done in a while. And then we get the interviewer backstage, I don't know her name, catches up with Colt Cabana as he starts to enter the office of Brody Lee. So is he going to take him up on the offer to join the Dark Order? Another little stab at Vince here. So any kind of backstage stuff you've ever seen in your life, whether it's documentaries, whether it's anything, like Vince McMahon on his dressing room has a little piece of A4 paper printed off, and it says Vince's office, and it's usually like some sort of, like fucking Roman theme, or like, I'm trying to think what it is. What are the guys called? The chariots, basically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff to basically show he's the boss. And in this, example where Colt's knocking on the office of Brody Lee, you get to see Mr. Lee or Mr. Brody Lee, and it's like similar kind of artwork, so that is another stab at Vince.
Yeah, so, but no, because Brody Lee's come out and said that he based his character on mafia films, and it's nothing to do with Vince at all, and it's just a coincidence. Sheer coincidence.
100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah, so I thought that was quite a little funny nod. We then get to see Moxley arrive, and he's in a bad mood, Anthony. He's in a bad mood. Apparently, Taz has been spouting off all week, telling everyone the Cage is going to beat him. And you know what? He can't wait for Fyter Fest because he's going to pop him like a pimple.
Gross.
Okay. Yeah, gross.
Why not just pin him?
Yeah, just, be like
beat
the lunatic friend, the fucking lunatic pimple popper.
Like that's a decidedly PG thing to say, considering he's now got the freedom he's got.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? These are the points I raise about Mox, is that I want so much to like him, but he can't shake the fact he was a former WWE guy. The stuff he says just doesn't, like, no one speaks like that. And that's one of the big problems in WWE. It's not real. And he's there like, I'm going to pop you like a pimple. It's like, are you? So, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But we get to see
I'm going to push you and run.
We get to see Brian Cage, who sneaks up on him and ends up throwing him on top of a car and smashes the back screen. Like, Cage is a bad man.
Yeah, but Moxley at this point is a cage fighter.
Oh, shit. And then the main event of the evening, we get to see the TNT title defended again. This time, Cody is taking on Mark Quinn of Private Party. And, Quinn comes out accompanied by Matt Hardy, who the previous week basically said he's down for a Hardy party.
Yeah, a Hardy party.
So they're keeping that going. Cody comes out with Arn Anderson. And, whatever you want to say about the TNT title, the way it looks or anything like that, I'm proper over on this belt. For me, this is the new version of the IC title. It is a title for, the workhorses to also get people over. Like Mark Quinn, we wouldn't have a fucking clue who this guy is. We'd just be like, oh, he's some dude in the Private Party. He put on the match of his life in this.
Yeah.
And,
that's the thing. It really gave him a good bit of solo time. Not that I want to see the tag team split up or anything, because tag teams, they can exist without like constantly relying on each other. Do you know what I mean? Like people always think like when someone does something solo, the tag team's gonna split up. That seems to be naturally what happens in wrestling, but it doesn't have to be the case. But getting to see him have a solo outing like this is really good.
Yeah, definitely. And, it was just like it's a performance we've never seen from him before, because we've only ever seen him in a tag team, and he proved that he can hang, and it was a really good match. And do you know what? It wasn't overproduced, which I'm shocked.
Been saying that for a long time with Cody.
I'm shocked about.
If he's going to put one on every week, he's going to have to calm the fuck down. So, yeah.
Well, that's it. The match itself was not overproduced at all. After the match, however. So, look, right, Cody picks up the win, as expected. I don't think anybody was going to think otherwise. But after the match, out comes Jake Hager. He then gets in the ring and goes after Arn Anderson. So Cody's obviously a bit like, no, don't do that. He's my like mentor, game plan guy, whatever. And then basically Cody tries to get involved, but he gets manhandled. Then the Hardy Party come down, and then they start making the save. Then the Inner Circle come down to even the odds. Referees are coming down, breaking it up and stuff like that. This isn't the fucking Jericho Tyson thing from the other week where that made sense. This is just like why? Like, where's this come from? Didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then Cody gets on the mic and says, you know what, Hager, I know what you want. I know why you come down here. You want a match for the TNT title of Fyter Fest, and you know what? You've got it. It's like, okay, why have all them shenanigans? Why? You basically said you'll defend your title every week. Like, why not just be like, okay, I'm next week.
Yeah. Like, it didn't need that.
Exactly. Why straight away is it, okay, I'll fight you at Fyter Fest? Does that mean you're still defending it next week? And what if you lose?
Yeah,
why are you booking a match for it in advance?
Yeah, that's so dismisses next week, really.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, okay, but yeah, for me, I thought this was a good show, but it had a lot of caveats or a lot of like filler type stuff in there. The opening tag team match was fantastic. Always nice to see Brits. Like the women's match was okay. MJF promo was okay, stuff like that. But I don't know, it just didn't feel as on par as some of the other ones. So for me, I'm going to go with a 2.5. I feel like it was the middle of the road. It wasn't bad by any means. It just wasn't to the standard that Dynamite's been over the last couple.
Yeah, I take your points. And it probably was a weaker show compared to others. I'm inclined myself to give it a 3. I think Wednesday is a great night for wrestling. And both NXT and Dynamite for the last couple of weeks for me have been on par with one another. And I think it's only fair to give this one a 3 as well.
Nice.